Hey everybody, happy September. Can you believe we are in September already? I think it's crazy, so crazy. But welcome. I am super excited to be doing our very first Toxic Free Tuesday. So in Toxic Free Tuesdays, I'm going to be sharing with you the products that I personally use in my house, on our skin and in our home for cleaning. I'll also be sharing with you maybe some additional recommendations that I maybe haven't tried but heard that they're good and maybe score well on the EWG. I will also be sharing with you the EWG rating. And for those of you that aren't familiar with what EWG is, it is the Environmental Working Group. And you can look them up. It's ewg.org. So that's just a place where you can go to look up the products that you're currently using in your house, and it gives them a rating. And we'll go over that rating system here in a minute, but it gives them a rating on how toxic they are. And obviously, we want it to be towards the lowest level possible, so that we are not increasing that toxic burden in our body. I'm going to start out by saying that I am not perfect in this area, but I have definitely come a long way. Some things are still a work in progress, and I'm always looking at other options, just different things to try, things that are even cleaner than I'm using now and less toxic than I'm using now. Less ingredients, and things like that. So as I try new things, I will obviously share them with you. So, and if you see me kind of looking to the side a little bit or looking down, I do have some notes with me because there are certain things that I want to make sure that I share with you that are accurate. And so I have that stuff here with me to be able to refer to. Another thing that I want to nip in the bud real quick, because I get this question all the time, is yes, I still color my hair. It is probably the one area that I have not given up or found an alternative for. And I am not justifying here, but my overall toxic burden has reduced tremendously, having made the switch to in almost all other areas, right? And so that's the goal, is you want to reduce that toxic burden as much as you possibly can. Of course, if I found an alternative to my hair color, or just let it go gray, then that would reduce that burden even more. But I have significantly reduced it by making the switch in almost every other aspect of my life. So I'm pretty pleased with that. It's always a work in progress, right? So just a quick overview as to why we want to be toxic free. So you've heard me mention this toxic burden. And what the toxic burden is the accumulation of all the toxins, that come into our system, whether it be through our makeup, our skincare, lotions, our cleaning products, all of those things. It's an accumulation of all of those things that come into our system, and they do come into our system. So what you want to do is reduce that amount that's coming in, because what happens is, if that accumulates and keeps accumulating, our body becomes really fatigued. It doesn't have the ability to flush those toxins out of our body to the best of its ability because it's overloaded. And when that happens, the toxins can back up in our systems and we get disease and chronic illness. So it's really important to reduce the toxic burden in your life. And so that's why I'm here to do Toxic Free Tuesdays, to just share with you some of the things that I'm using and how they rate, and hopefully give you a place to start. Because when I started this process, it was overwhelming to me. I didn't know what to buy. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know if it was going to work well. And typically when you're buying products that are less toxic, you're going to pay more. It just is what it is. And if I was going to pay more for a product, if I'm going to pay, $4 and some odd cents for a hand soap versus 99 cents, then I want to know that it's going to work good. I'm okay with paying that price because it's less toxic to my system, but I need to know that it's going to work good. And Sometimes it's been trial and error. I've bought in stuff that I really haven't been fond of, but that's just how it works. But I'm here to hopefully share some places for you to start. I will say, I'm just going to quote the EWG really quick, just so you get an idea. And you might have heard this before, maybe you haven't, but on average, women use 12 personal care products a day, exposing themselves to 168 chemical ingredients in one day, 168 chemical ingredients. And that's just personal care products. That doesn't include the stuff that you're cleaning with. 168 chemical ingredients. So if we're exposing ourselves to that many ingredients in a given day, let's make sure that they are the least toxic as possible, because we do not want that accumulation to build up in our systems, right? So like I said, today I am going to be sharing makeup, and my makeup routine is very simple, you guys, very simple. I don't use a lot on my face. But I'm going to share with you the products that I do use. I'm also going to share with you maybe some recommendations of some other companies that have great products that rate well also. I haven't tried those products necessarily, but have heard good things. So let's just talk quickly about, before we get started, about the EWG. Okay, I'm going to give you that environmental working group rating. Okay, and like I said, the EWG, you can look them up at ewg.org. But the ratings vary from being EWG verified to a 10 for skincare, and EWG verified, then it goes A, B, C, D, and F for cleaning and household products. Now, EWG verified is going to be the best option, the lowest concern for immunotoxicity or cancer-causing type things, things like that. So EWG verified is the best, and then 10 being the worst for skincare and F being the worst for cleaning and household products. I am going to quote or read to you from the EWG website, just so you know what goes into making something EWG verified. So to be EWG verified, products cannot contain any ingredients on EWG's unacceptable list, meaning ingredients with health, ecotoxicity, and or contamination concerns. It must meet EWG's standards for ingredient disclosure on the label, provide full transparency to EWG, including fragrance ingredients. That one's key for me. That one gets me going. And product manufacturers must develop and follow current good manufacturing practices to further ensure the safety of their products. I'm just going to go back really quickly to the ingredient disclosure on the label and full transparency to EWG. That's huge, because I've recently come across where a website has left something out, particularly fragrance. And that doesn't sit well with me. It just doesn't. And if fragrance is rated an 8, fragrance can be anything. So I want to know if there's fragrance, even if it says natural fragrance in my product, where is that coming from? Because natural fragrance doesn't necessarily always have to be natural. So full disclosure, I completely respect any company that gives full disclosure. So that's the EWG verified and how that's rated. So let's talk about next, what do I look for? So when I look for products that are toxic free, well, I look at the rating and how clean it is, of course. That's kind of high up there on the list. I also look at the cost, because like I said, a lot of products that are out there that are less toxic free and better for you and better for the environment cost a heck of a lot more. So I do look at the cost. I look at how easily I can get it. I don't want it to be a hassle if I run out of something. I want to be able to get it relatively quickly and easily. And of course, how well does it work? And this sometimes isn't really determined until after I buy it and I try it, but I do try to read the reviews and see what others might have to say. So I think without further ado, And if you have any questions at any point in time, just post them in the comments, or you can send me a message. If you want to send me a private message, that's okay too. But I am happy to help. I'm happy to answer any questions. So let's get started with makeup. And I will say that makeup is probably, I recently just transitioned all my makeup, okay? And the way that I have been doing this since I started implementing less toxic free products in my household and in my life is as I run out of something, I replace it with something toxic free or less toxic, I should say. So that's probably the biggest thing that I would recommend to you. If you're just starting out, you run out of something, replace it with something less toxic. Otherwise, it can be expensive to do it all at once and a little overwhelming. So, like I said, my makeup, I recently just did my makeup. I would say within the last 6 months, I've kind of gone through and done most of the things in my makeup bag, except for lipstick, and we'll talk about that. But that will happen very soon. So first up, we're gonna talk about, I don't use foundation on my face, I just use powder. But I'm gonna give you some recommendations for where you might be able to get a good foundation. So, but I am currently using the, if you can see it, it's probably backwards, 100% Pure is the brand. It is called Bamboo Blur Powder. I found this company through the Food Babe, and I thought if she is so passionate about the toxicity and everything with food, she's got to be just as picky with her skincare. So I looked them up and I ordered this powder. I do like the way that it works. It is really meant to go over a foundation, but I tend to apply it right after I moisturize and it works just fine. I mean, I think I look okay. So 100% Pure is the company. And in terms of its rating, all the ingredients are rated a 1 on the EWG. The product itself is not in the EWG database, but I went through and looked up all of the ingredients that are in there, which you can do on the EWG, and all of them are rated a 1, which is good. There was one ingredient that was not found on the EWG, and that was bamboo silica, but I did find bamboo extracts, and they are often called silica, and bamboo extracts on EWG is also rated a 1. So overall, I think this is really clean. So that's 100% Pure is the brand, and Bamboo Blur Powder, excuse me. I'm going to take this minute to let you know that I am going to be sending out notes to this. So I understand that as you're listening to me talk, you might not be able to jot things down, and you don't want to have to watch back through the entire video to remember the powder that I recommended. So I am going to send out just some bullet point notes, and the link to sign up to get those notes is in the comments, or in the description. So just you can sign up there. If you're watching on Instagram, then go to my link in the bio and click there, and you can access the link to sign up to get those notes. So go ahead and do that, and I will send you this list so that you don't have to jot down notes and worry about coming back and rewatching to get the brand that maybe you want to try. Next up is also 100% Pure. This is the mascara that I use. It's called Fruit Pigmented Mascara. It's silver, so I don't know if you can see that, but it's 100% Pure, and it's Fruit Pigmented Mascara. I do like the way that this mascara works. It actually smells really good too. I think because most of the ingredients are fruit, which is awesome, right? And so let's talk about how it rates. All the ingredients are a 1 to a 2, most of them being a 1. There was one thing not on the EWG that I couldn't find in the database, and that was lavender honey, but I don't suspect it as being toxic. Honey and lavender, neither one is too toxic, so combine them together and I'm sure that it's fine. I will mention, I'll do my other product mentions at the end, but there is another company, a couple other companies that actually have some mascaras that rate really well as well on the EWG. And I'll let you know about these when we're done going through what I have in my bag here. So 100% pure fruit pigmented mascara. That's what I'm using for mascara. Next up, we will talk about blush. This was probably the first one that I traded out in my makeup bag. I am using Mineral Fusion, if you can see that. Mineral Fusion blush, and it is EWG verified. So all of the ingredients are between a 1 and a 2, and it also meets all of the criteria that we talked about to be EWG verified, which means that they have given full transparency, manufacturing practices are good, and things like that. And I do like the way this blush works. It stays on. Definitely, so far, all of these products, I would definitely use again. But being who I am, I like to try different things out. So when I run out, I might try new things. So that's blush. And then a couple more things here. We've got concealer, and I am using a liquid concealer by Labrai. Labrai is a direct sales type company. Labrai is not in the EWG database, but I did go through, which I always do, and I looked up every single ingredient for y'all. I actually didn't do this before I purchased it because I was at one of those, parties, and I happened to purchase it. So I did it after the fact. So let's see. Overall, and I'm gonna tell you this, I counted up the ingredients just so I could give you an idea here of the ratio. So in this concealer, there's 40 ingredients, all in all, and they're all a 1 to a 2 with the following exceptions. I am not going to try to pronounce these ingredients. That's another thing that I actually look for most of the time is, can I pronounce the ingredients that are in the things that I'm getting? Because if I can pronounce them, there's a good chance that I probably know what they are, and I know that how they're rated. But there's plenty of things out there too that I don't know how to pronounce or what they are. And when you look them up, they're rated okay. So again, out of 40 ingredients, all of them were a 1 or a 2, except we had one that was rated a 3 on the EWG. There was another one that was rated a 1 to a 3, depending on usage. But when I looked it up in other concealers, it was rated a 1. So there's a good chance that it's rated a 1 in the concealer. There were 3 ingredients that were a 1 to a 3, depending on usage. And in other concealers, they rated a 3. And there were 2 ingredients that were rated a 2 to a 3. And in other concealers, that ingredient was rated a 2. There also is perfume listed as an ingredient in here, which is not rated on the EWG, but fragrance is, and that's rated as an 8. So that's where I feel like transparency is really, really key, because it's gonna get a poorer rating not knowing what that fragrance is, right? So all in all, overall, again, I don't know how EWG does their scoring systems and things like that. But given that there are 40 ingredients and there are maybe a handful that are not higher than a 3 with the exception of that fragrance, I feel like this would rate relatively well. I don't really know how it would rate, but it's probably less toxic than some other products that are out there. So that is the concealer, and that is Labrai. And then last but not least, my chapstick. We got to talk about chapstick, right? Because we all need chapstick in our lives. And I use Burt's Bees chapstick. And this is the original. This is the vitamin E and peppermint. And it is rated a 1 overall. All the ingredients are a 1, except peppermint oil is rated a 4. And you'll see if you actually hop onto the EWG that sometimes the oils, essential oils, are rated a little bit higher. They can be bothersome for some people. So I think that's why they're rated a little bit higher. I think it just depends on, you know, if you're sensitive to those kinds of things or not. But most products that have the essential oils in them, even though the essential oil is rated a little bit higher, excuse me, the overall scoring is usually relatively well, as long as the rest of the ingredients are good. And that's usually because essential oils and products are usually at a diluted level, which is what they recommend for essential oils anyways. So I don't get too crazy concerned when an ingredient is above a 2 and it's an oil, just because I have that knowledge of the oils and there's the dilution process and things like that. So you can take that and decide for yourself, of course. I still have not swapped out my lipstick. So that is the last thing in my makeup bag that I need to swap out. And I will be doing that very soon. I'm just gonna take a drink of water here. So there's a couple things that I wanna mention. I didn't want this to go this long because I want you to hang in there and watch. But there are a couple things I want to mention, and this one is really important. Just because something rates well on the EWG. So for example, just because this product from 100% Pure rates well on the EWG doesn't mean all products from that particular brand are going to rate well. So always look things up just to be sure. Okay, a perfect example is my Burt's Bees here. Okay, this rates overall as a 1. I had some a vanilla one and an ultra conditioning one. Both of those are rated a 3 just because there are different ingredients in them. So always check. Don't assume that just because one product is rated well that all the products are gonna be rated well. So always just hop on there and check. I did want to give a couple other places just a little bit of a shout out, I guess, because I do think that they have some good potential products, and I will be ordering from there soon. Probably one of them for my lipstick, and I'm up for a new mascara. This is getting a little dried out, so we'll be replacing some things. But Beauty Counter is a company. It's another direct sales type company. That has a lot of things on the EWG website. They're already on there. You don't have to go searching all the ingredients. A lot of them are EWG verified, which I highly respect, like I said. And they do have an EWG verified mascara, all the ingredients being a 1 or a 2. So Beauty Counter is another place that you can check out for makeup, as well as Crunchy. I don't know, have you ever heard of Crunchy? You might have heard of Beauty Counter, but Crunchy, CRUNCHI, is another one that has some relatively clean products. They do have some of them on the EWG as well, so you can check that out. I know a friend who has tried and is using their foundation. So if foundation is something that you're looking for, then maybe you could check them out for that. So Beauty Counter and Crunchy. And I will state, so I've given you 3 direct sales companies. I am not affiliated with any of them. I don't have any arranged kickbacks with any of them. If I ever am affiliated with a company or I got something to try for free, I will always be transparent with you about that, and I will still always give you an honest review. So these are just companies that I just have heard of. I have friends that actually are involved with them, and just wanted to throw them out there because I do think that they have some good, clean products. So I think that wraps up our first Toxic-Free Tuesday. If you hung in there with me to the end, thank you so much for hanging in there. It definitely was a little bit longer than I wanted to go, and I hope to keep the future ones a little bit shorter because I won't do all of that intro in the beginning or as much intro about the EWG and the toxic burden and things like that. I really just wanted to put that in this first one as reference. So the other ones I'm hoping to keep a little bit shorter because we all don't have 30 minutes on our Tuesday to listen to Shannon. Don't forget, but I'm very happy, I'm very pleased that you hung in there with me. So thank you for that. And if you want the notes from this Toxic Free Tuesday talk, the bullet points of the products that I recommended and the links to go along with them, make sure you sign up using the link in the comments or in the bio on Instagram, and message me or comment below if you have questions. And I hope you have an amazing day. Thanks so much.